Things that he will say when he doesn't want to marry you. It's funny. Dudes with LLCs will be like, I don't want to marry nobody because I don't want the white man's paperwork. Yeah, your LLC is the white man's paperwork. Make it make sense. BFFR. Things that he will say when he doesn't want to marry you. He will give a list of things that he needs to get done before he can marry you. And now, other guys will come in the comments and probably be like, no, that's the truth. Da da da. Quiet. He will say he has to reach milestones in life before he can marry you. Now, any real one knows that a man will take you to the courthouse, buy you a quick ring, and upgrade that motherfucker when he gets to his milestones before he loses the woman of his dreams. He will get a second job. He will do what he needs to do if he knows that you are the woman that he wants to marry. If he's telling you that he has to reach this goal and that goal and this goal and that goal, he doesn't see you coming with him on that journey. He sees his goals as the most important, and whomever is there when he reaches those goals will be the woman that he marries. Now, there are probably some women that have gotten a ring after waiting around for the goals. Kudos to you. I'm not saying that every man is like this, but majority of men that list life goals as to when they are going to get married are not going to marry you. You're not going to be the woman of his dreams when he makes it there. By then, y'all going to have argued about finances and all these other things. He's going to say you stress him the fuck out. There is a rare occasion where the woman that's stuck with a man before he got himself together ends up marrying that man and is happily married. Let's put that out there. Happily married. Typically the woman that he finds after he's gotten all this stuff together, when, he finally feels like he's a man, that's who he marries. And you could have been his lover and his secretary, working every day of the week. 11 years you sacrificed. No, let me stop. Live your life. I know I probably sound like such a, what's it called? Like, you hate relationship, you hate marriage, you hate love. No, I hate people wasting years of their life thinking that they are going to have this fairy tale ending, when fairy tale endings are real, but not for women that don't value themselves more than love itself. And I know that's gonna go over some people's heads, like, but love is great. If you don't value yourself over loving another person, getting married and all that stuff, you will settle for so much stuff and you're never going to get your fairy tale ending. I wanted to continue the things he'll say when he doesn't really want to marry you. So another one is, I'm waiting on the perfect time. And in my 27 years of life, and I've been pretty aware from about 6, so I'll say in my 21 years of awareness, the right time never came for any woman that was waiting on the right time. That's just their way of saying, one day I'm going to get married, just not to you, baby. And when I find her, trust and believe I'm going to get married within months to a year. And all this waiting around that you're doing, all this loving me that you're doing, all this teaching and nurturing that you're doing for me, it's not going to matter, because you are just not her. And you're not her because it has nothing to do with you. Just because men don't know what they really want. So they think that they found her, and in reality, they didn't. We've seen it countless times, and I want to just use Tyler Perry's Why Did I Get Married, because that's a great example of how he left Sheila, then wanted to come right back. Because when you marry the 20 and you leave the 80, you don't realize that the 80 was putting in her 150%, and the 20 is not even going to give you 20%, because that's going to be too much like actually loving you. I've had this happen to me recently, where an ex that literally, he broke up with me. We were having conversations. Every time he tried to slip it in, remember you used to do this for me, remember you used to do that for me. That girl doesn't live here anymore. The girl that you promised to marry you for years, you planned out cakes, you would send me rings, do all of this stuff to string me along. Then you broke up with me. And then you started dating other people. Then you realized nobody's going to do what Corinne was going to do. But that girl that was so willing to overextend herself to the point of exhaustion, she went to therapy. So she don't even live here anymore. This one is going to be controversial because, I'm a big woman, but I was not always big. So the thing is, I've dated smaller. I've dated slim thick, I've dated thick, I've dated plus size. Any man that puts some sort of weight requirement or physical beauty requirement on when you're gonna get married. Oh, your hair has to be this long. Oh, you have to be this weight. Oh, you have to do this. Oh, you need to have this done. Oh, you need to dress like this. Oh, you need to be doing this in order for me to marry you. He don't want to marry you. He's clearly telling you, you're not my type. And unless you go and change yourself, I ain't marrying you. So that's the type of man you don't want to get married to, because again, if he wants you to change a whole bunch of stuff physically, he don't like you for you. And that's going to be a lifelong thing where you're going to be chasing his validation to feel beautiful. When if he can't like you for what you look like on your everyday, he's never going to like the way you look. I remember changing myself. I changed the way I dressed. I changed how I did my hair. I kept my hair long, knowing that it was just so for a man. You can do everything that they want you to do. You can bend over backwards. It's like they're testing to see how stupid you're going to be. How much is this girl going to throw away her time, her life? How much is she going to bend backwards? How much is she going to jump? They want to see how weak you can be, and they're not going to marry you. And if they do marry you when you're weak, you're going to end up just like the most recent couple in the headlines, where the wife is on the internet going crazy and he out there brunch with a new girl. Like, she gonna be at home like, I did all this changing, I had the kids, I did this, I did this, I did this, I was praying to God. That's what happens. I literally changed religions for a man. You gotta understand something. I was so desperate in my early 20s that I would have done anything just to get a little dusty ass rock on my finger. So this is why when I come on the internet and I'm joking with y'all, and if y'all knew how much I was willing, that's why I said I used to be a certified misogynist, certified red pillar, certified patriarchal lover. And I was willing to do anything to say that I had a man. I know so many girls that are going to die alone still, because we all die alone, but die alone with a man because they think that they have to literally exhaust themselves to keep a man. Another example of things that he'll say when he doesn't want to marry you, he will put an age out there. And because relationships are not one of those things where you can tell if you're even going to make it to a specific age with one another, he'll say, I'm waiting till I'm just a thought of number 30. Y'all 20. I wanted to stop the video midway. Disclaimer. Ladies, this does not mean that you are not going to get married to your guy that says he has to wait till a certain age. This is just saying, myself, if I had waited, I would have never got the ring because the person still isn't married till this day. I'm waiting till I'm 30 to get married. Who's to say that relationship is going to last for 10 years? And in 10 years, you're going to be the woman he wants to marry. They say these certain things just so that you know, yeah, I want to get married. But again, probably not to you. Because if I thought that you were wife material, 30 could turn easily into 25, whatever. I don't suggest people get married that super early. I don't suggest you get married till you hit 30. Quite honestly, that would save so many women their youth, and they can live their 20s if they stop focusing on marriage in their 20s. And a lot of women would grow and know what type of man that they like. Because at 27, if I would have married the men that I was dating in my early 20s, I would be divorced by now. I'm just saying. But yeah, they'll throw out a certain number, and the number will be far away. So you're like, so I gotta wait this long? I gotta keep putting in all this effort as a girlfriend for this long just in hopes of getting a last name change? Because it's not meant for you. It's just meant to be put out there so that you know, hey, I do want to get married, but not really to you. You don't seem like the type of girl that I'm going to compromise, my desires for. Because I literally used to watch this couple. They were, like two separate entities. She was more of the forefront. And the man literally said, I never thought about marriage until she brought it up to me. But I knew I loved her enough that I compromised on that. And I did it the moment that, I realized that she was the one. So if a man that literally did not want to get married found a woman that he literally can coexist with, love, and they're growing together in both spirit, finance, love, so on and so forth, doing their thing, And he said, even though that wasn't what I wanted to do, I compromised. You know why? Because a man that has found a good woman will do what he needs to do to prove to that good woman that I need you by my side. So there's no reason on earth why women should be waiting around for a man's age to come around for him to marry her. Things he will do when he doesn't want to marry you. He will speak down on you as far as purity goes. If any man tries to tell you you a hoe, you a whore, you this, he tries to talk about you in a way that is shaming you for anything sexual or the way you dress or stuff like that. If he does stuff like that, he don't see you as wife material. Because it's clear, we can look at celebrities, we can look at real life. Women that dress sexy, provocative, getting married every day, or the things that you've done in your past that he quite literally baited you into telling him. If he is saying those kind of things to you, he's letting you know, I wouldn't marry your slut ass. Even though I'm gonna tell you right now, you're not a slut. You lived your life, you did what you had to do, and you had fun. And some of the stuff that we do is from trauma, but other stuff is just from us trying to gain experience, living life, being young. What they say, young, dumb, and full of, okay. So if he baits you and he asks you questions about body counts, all that stuff, just laugh it off. Don't tell them nothing, because later on, that's going to be the same reason why you're in a relationship and you've been in that relationship 10 years and he won't marry you, but he loves all the stuff that you've learned how to do and da-da-da-da, but he don't marry you because he like, I ain't marrying this hoe. I'll stick around with her. I'll even have kids with her. But for me to marry a hoe, because you know how men in that purity BS is, if he holds that stuff valuable, he's not going to marry you. But I've seen women go through this, where it's like they are constantly being treated like a prostitute or whatever. And again, I'm here for my girls. I'm here for my sex workers. I'm here for you. But I've seen how they try to treat women less than because they are sexually just doing their freaking thing. They're living their life and they've lived their life. So then that way, when they're ready to settle down, they have some freaking knowledge. Nobody wants to have a boring sex life.